You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who, deep in thought, nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein.
Hello everyone! Hi, welcome to our third session of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. I am Simon at Wandering DM, and I am about to be told that this is supposed to be our fourth session or something like that, judging by Deirdre's face. And Chris confirmed it, so let me just switch that real quick. Falkenstein, episode 4. I knew I made a mistake. But at least I had changed the title before the stream, which, yay me. So before we begin tonight's game, let's just go through our sponsors very quickly, beginning with Mage and Press, who have a Kickstarter going on right now. If you like to play D&D in space, check out their Kickstarter, check out store.mageandpress.com. You can buy their campaign setting called Dark Matter, which we've played here for about a year. And then if you're interested in starting your own Dark Matter game, hop onto their Kickstarter. They're currently they're funded, but if you want to get all the goodies that come with it, and all the stretch goals, they basically are releasing an introductory adventure called Conspiracy in the Stars, which will take your characters from 1st to 5th level, and also give you a nice spiffy spaceship. So that said, kitten, stop. Our other sponsor is Found Familiar. You can check them out at foundfamiliar.com. They make great coffee, and I highly encourage you to go check them out and order some to try it out. And then, of course, Roll20, the platform that we use here for all of our shows on Wandering DM. Check out Roll20 at roll20.net. And finally, our partners through the Diceomancy program, Level Up Dice. If you want to get your hands on some shiny dice, check them out, the purple torch down below or the link in chat, which, by the way, thanks to all of you who clicked on the link, not even bought things, just clicked on the link, and thank you also to those of you who bought the dice with the link. They're currently shipping, but we will be getting special D6 sets branded by Level Up Dice to give away. These are sets of dice that cannot be found elsewhere. So thank you very much for all the support. And keep your eyes out for a bunch of giveaways to be happening very soon. That said, tonight I'm playing Edwin Thayer, the Professor of Criminology, and Crab Burglar, by night. And let's go around the table, introduce our wonderful cast before tonight's game. And we'll go clockwise from me on the overlay. So we'll begin with Adriana.
Hi everyone, my name's Adriana, and tonight I'll be playing Ekaterina von Stein, inventor and...
Next is Kenny.
Hello, I am Kenny, and today I am playing Amor Protego, an actor, but you may know them as Jacer.
And Pooja?
Hi, I'm Pooja. I'm playing Elise St. Pere in young opera ingenue. And since everyone else is doing it, witch! You want to be left out.
Do we all have a secret double life? Do we all lead a secret double life? Let's see. Let's skip over our host for a moment. Go to our other last player, and then we'll bring it back up to Chris. Deirdre, hello. What's your secret life?
Hi, all. This is a great day. I get to play La Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti. And the Contessa is a wonderful young widow who's just enjoying herself, traveling around New Europa, having wonderful affairs, and spying on everybody she can meet.
Seems that we're all a little sick and would need to...
It's those allergies.
Yeah, it's
what
allergy
happens
season.
when you have a tropical storm come through and knock all the trees down.
Yeah, all the sneezing.
Mhm.
And to tell this wonderful story of intrigue and mystery in Venice is our illustrious host, the one and only Chris Geary.
Thank you, Simon. My name is Chris Geary. As Simon said, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Geary, and I am the host of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. Gesundheit to all of you players and to the audience. May your hay fever lift soon. But for those of you who are having difficulty remembering where we left off, we started with breakfast last session, and we had a guest, a friend of the Contessa, Amor Protego, also known by those closest to them as Jacer. After some introductions and some lovely food, a few mimosas, some coffee, and for a few people, just orange juice, the professor, Edwin Thayer, made his way back to the university and to prepare for his lecture on criminology. The rest of the group returned to the Café Florian, where they had, I don't know, second breakfast, if it was mostly coffee. Ekaterina went to her hotel to check out and to send her things over to the Contessa's villa. It's nicer accommodations and wonderful company, but along the way, she picked up flowers for the different people that she's recently met. Each one had a bouquet of a different flower, and when she gave them to them, she said a little blessing of sorts upon each one of them. While that was going on, Elise and Amor made their way to the Hungarian cafe. The Grand Cafe... What? Queer... Oh, no, Lord, I am losing my mind. Where are we? I can't find it now.
Grand Cafe Quadri.
There it is, Quadri. There it is. The Grand Cafe Quadri. Where they had a chance encounter with a gentleman in a very festive hat. He was older and a little interesting, shall we say. After a conversation that seemed to go somewhere but not sure where, trying to find out more about Rolst von Gribben, the dwarf who maybe knows something about this fire or special fires that can burn underwater. They left and returned. The whole group went to the lecture, and after the lecture, spent some time talking to the professor and figuring out what they were going to do next. So at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to my players. Locate us within Venice. Wherefore art thou, players?
Somewhere?
Well,
we
Thayer's
just
new
left
here.
the lecture hall, I believe.
Yeah.
Indeed. And did you head anywhere in particular?
We want to go to the cathedral? Oh, or to talk to your friends at the opera house? No, the two dwarves.
That's on the to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we did this in hitting the Basilica La Friari, the other basilica, not the Basilica San Marco, but the La Friari with the statue of the saint.
Okay.
Which saint? There's so many of them.
Yeah, I know. I just hold on. It's the other basilica that we were talking about. It's John the Baptist. It's the basilica, the church with the statue for John the Baptist, La Friari, and and it's just north of the university, and you then have to cross the Grand Canal to get back to probably the Rialto there to get back to the Opera House. So I was just thinking in terms of.
Indeed. And it is dedicated to Santa Maria.
Yeah, Santa Maria la Friari, with a statue of St. John the Baptist, because that was the quote from
the puzzle clue address that we received.
That we're still not quite sure if it's really that, but...
I think along the way, Jasser would ask me, like, what pointed us in this direction?
I don't remember you guys actually cluing Jasser in on all the details, just simply that there was a puzzle.
Well, there was a riddle, and we are looking for a dwarf who uses Austrian nomenclature. There's a whole... Okay, so remember, my dear friend, our unfortunate... No, we talked about this. Our unfortunate interaction with that Prometheans who are playing around again.
Oui.
They left... You know, they were talking about this, and then there was a little riddle to find this particular dwarf who lives at 14th Street in Venice. Well, there is no streets in Venice, and there's no streets named after numbers. But the ST, you know, the Santa. So then there's, of course, the question of, are you looking at St. Mark or St. John? And then we ended up looking at John, you know.
But
Mark 14:6 or 6:14, and ended up being that's about St. John the Baptist. Then, you know, there's a church with a statue to him.
So the street address came from the Promethean Society, we think, but the reference to the dwarf came from Brix and Swizzle, who had mentioned there being a blacksmith of great renown, and that was our whole expedition to the cafe, was to find out more about him.
Well,
because
the
of
address
key.
came from you.
Yeah,
The address. Oh, the address was for the dwarf. So then, what was in the letter?
The key that
The
apparently
key.
is cold iron.
And we think the dwarf might know something about the key because
And
he's
the
a blacksmith.
dwarf is at the address. That is not
Yes.
real. I am completely taking your accent.
Jasser would start like counting, like dwarf and church and address. There's a lot going on. I don't know what that accent is.
I'm sorry, I'm infecting everybody. We're all Southern today.
Yeah.
And it'll be quite fine. We're going to be going. We'll stop at the church, check in, then we'll go back and see, Brix and Swizzle. And as you're aware, they will definitely have something to make ourselves, a little bit more fun for the evening.
Should we go see Brix and Swizzle first? What are we actually going to be looking for at this cathedral?
I was just suggesting the cathedral first because you have to walk by it to get back to the...
But what are we going to be looking for in the cathedral?
I just thought I'd take a look, take a little glance, see what's going on.
Might as well, yes.
And it has, get the lay of the land and then go get more information and then maybe come back. But it's a lot of going and coming and going and coming. And just...
It could not help.
Yeah, we might as well stop by.
I am free until tomorrow.
All right, well, it sounds like we have a plan.
There might be a tiny something that I may have left out. There was a note in Latin with the key.
Oh. And what did it say?
GM, what did it say?
Oh, yes. What did it say? So I'm pulling up my notes on that since it hasn't come up since I gave it to Ekaterina. The note itself is simply 2 lines of text that read, well, let me see if I can get it.
You can send it to me and I can try and speak Latin and I can butcher it.
No.
I speak Spanish, so it's kind of like Latin.
No, you could. It says, well, here. I'm just going to put it into chat for everybody.
RJ, shut up.
I mean, to be fair, Spanish is closer than certain other people's pronunciation of Latin. There's a little bit,
If I tried Latin, it would just be ugly. So better you than me.
Yeah, I only learned choral Latin.
I only speak bad French.
I just needed to translate it again. So here we go. Because I can't find where I translated it.
Don't worry, Minsuli. Spanish is quite simple. I can help you with your R's.
Really? Really?
I mean,
Donne
rolling R's
andate,
ain't...
mors venit potest.
No. It's don, and ne here is a...
I don't speak
technically it should be mors venire potest, but that's okay.
But just translate it.
I know. for the rest of the class. Help.
Contessa, do you speak Latin?
Lady, before you die, either it is, yes, I do speak Latin. It's a thing that comes with, being attached to the church in some ways. In the Donne here is supposed to be, is one of 2 things. It is either lady in the vocative. It means that they are talking directly to someone and they wish to say, you lady. Before you, antite. See? Mors venet potest. And it should be venire because it should require a complementary infinitive. Potest meaning to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is death is able to come.
So, lady, before you're able to come?
No.
Ladies,
Maybe
before
That would be a very
is
different
able to come?
conversation.
That's a very different conversation, Professor.
That is a conversation that is not for this public area. Donne, and before death, lady, before you, death is able to come. Or death, technically, if he wanted to be, talking about it in the future, death is coming.
Oh, it's a threat.
Oh, I
The
haven't
badly-
been threatened in such a long time.
Can I also,
a key?
Greg, Chris,
Mhm.
was that what you were intending to write, or did I just?
Oh, no. That is extremely close, except one of the words is not Latin.
Ah,
And I will give you that because of your education and connections.
then it's
Which one seems to break the sentence completely?
Neat.
No, that's just a
Well,
bad
let Donne-
conjugation on my part because I used
Donne?
a free translation.
Donne
Donne?
is give in a lot of languages.
yeah. Give before you. Donne can either be Donne might be
Given French, right?
give. It could be give in
Yeah.
French, or it could also be
Isn't it
Dodare.
also women in plural in Italian?
yeah. Well, it would be women. It could be no, that would be donna.
Donna.
It
I
wouldn't
thought
be in
Donna was the. Oh, yeah.
unless it's a more formal. Well, then let me rephrase that. That could be it. I haven't specialized in
I'm just like,
Northern Italian.
Do I need to
so-
use a card?
Yeah. Do you?
Wow.
I mean, I can use a card
If you'd like to.
for language or what is it supposed to
That
be?
would be education for if you're talking about languages, if you're looking for that.
Ooh, education is mental.
Mhm.
Yeah. Here. And her education is what is it again? Her education is good.
Okay. So that's a base
So
6.
here. Have a 10.
The clubs is
Yeah. Isn't that what I saw?
physical. Mental is
yeah,
diamonds.
it's diamond for mental.
Education. It's not diamond.
Let me see.
Or no, I'm misreading things. Sorry, I can't
Yeah.
see today.
No problem.
Okay. Then I will take that card back. And I will just burn, this is just going to be a plus. I'll just burn it. I don't have any diamonds on me.
Okay. Yeah. Clubs is physical. Spades is social. Hearts is interpersonal. And diamonds is mental. Just as a review for the audience. So they know
Yes,
what we're
thank
talking
you.
about.
Yeah. That's Donne is the only thing that doesn't make sense here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's either give.
Well, would give make sense? Would adding another verb make sense?
I mean, it doesn't because before you death is able to come. So
Well,
Yeah, but so it could before you give.
give before
Yeah. Oh, the translator screwed up the order. It should be start with antete and then
yeah, before
Done.
you
afterwards. So antete donne mors venir potas.
Before
So-
you give death.
So let me retype it for you. This is what it
No.
should have actually looked like, and I did not catch it.
No, well, here's the important thing is
So conjugate the word that the translator got wrong for me.
venire. I have to ask
Can you
ask
Yeah. Can you spell it, though?
VE. Yeah, here it
VE?
should be what you're saying is this. Entete donne mors venire potest. The question though is do because if it's written in Latin, I'm going to say something. Word order
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Inflection does. So case
Yes.
ending on the end of the noun.
But you have to remember that it was written by someone who may or may not actually understand that and is following
Yeah.
a different language's construction of sentences.
Yeah, the only thing is it would be a question of donne is going to be if you have this way, mors has to be the subject of the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just making sure that that is what you intended.
Let's see. Yes,
I still
because
believe it's a threat.
the first is yes, so that would be the
Yeah,
subject
'cause
of the
the
sentence,
Okay.
and then
Because-
you would have the introductory clause.
Yeah.
So
the
yes, you are
introduction.
you are breaking down the sentence correctly.
And
Yeah,
we are sure Done here is to give because when I put
Done
Done,
is the only thing.
Yeah,
In
Donna
Donna-
would be lady if it was.
it means
Donna-
women apparently in Italian. Right?
Okay, it can be women then.
Yeah, so it's either
Women-
before you women death comes or before you give
Death
me
is able
death?
to get.
Yeah, so like
I-
could be either one.
Donna.
Fine or
Yeah.
French.
See, Donna. See, that was my mistake. I speak Sicilian and the plural is different, so I
Mhm.
messed that up. That's my fault. But yeah, if it's women before you, she would be very. She was literally saying this and has a very confused expression on her face because her thing is like, well, obviously whoever wrote this doesn't actually speak Latin. They're just kind of faking it, because if it's ante te donne, that it should be ante vobis.
Yeah, the
Donne.
Vu version of you.
Yes,
The plural,
the plural,
you.
not the singular. The plural,
Yeah.
not the singular, because the singular te is only for the singular you. And so she's
Yeah.
going through this,
Mhm.
and it's like that. And then of course they're not, instead of using a future or a subjunctive, they're only using a complementary infinitive, which is kind of basic. And she's saying this as she's walking.
Jacer looks at the like as you're talking about Donne moi. So they give something to whom?
Give to
I mean, it's
death.
but this is not. Death isn't the one who is asking for anything.
Or
is
is it-
either.
Or is it, before you come, ladies, give me death? Maybe someone wants you to kill them.
Okay, I was gonna say, Professor, that's also a different conversation again.
But again, the question is, see, but the thing is, if it was ladies, then it would be vobis, not te.
Mhm.
Maybe it's before you give death a chance to come.
So the question is donne?
Oh, or could it be that they want us to hurry because death is coming?
Maybe.
Well, that
to
still is a
walk
threat,
past
which is still
death.
exciting.
No, but I
No?
meant the death is not coming for you or us. It's coming to whoever wrote the message.
Correct. It's
Well-
maybe not a threat, but a warning.
Well, maybe if they wanted us to do something before they were to die prematurely, then wouldn't they just give clear instructions? See, this is why I
They
understand
say,
people
"Come here."
in a
not
language
give.
that I may not understand, that they clearly do not. So
they don't either.
Where was this found?
My notes. I forgot. But there was a key. Cold iron. It's made from a mold. Unfinished key. Which lets us dwarves, because they're the ones able to work with cold iron. Which led to the lovely Elise here. Saying that she had been spoken to about a specific dwarf that was a master blacksmith, whom she got the address, whose address she got,
Mhm.
but then the address was a puzzle as well. So
It
everything is a
sure
puzzle, and nothing makes sense. This is perfect.
It's much more exciting and an adventure in Venice than I was expecting, that's for sure.
More threads than the silk merchant.
All right. Well, we have a threat in Latin. We have a ooh. We could perhaps ask someone at the basilica.
Are you saying I don't know how to speak Latin?
Are you insulting the Contessa?
I'm not insulting the Contessa in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying if someone butchered Latin, and we don't know which word was butchered. Perhaps the author of this letter is from here, and I don't know. Don't they teach out of game? Do they still teach Latin in school
Yes. Actually,
at that time
at
period?
this time, a lot of people would have taken Latin in school. Probably not necessarily enough to be fluent in it, but they would at least have the basics. And everyone who is Catholic would have has a basic understanding of it because the church mass is all done in Latin.
So perhaps maybe a priest would be able to tell us of like someone whose grasp of Latin is
I mean,
well
it could
better
also
than mine,
be.
but
Also, here's another interesting thing. The donne is capitalized.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that is capitalized in Latin is names.
are we looking at someone named Donne?
Ante Donne. Before you done. Don.
Perhaps they
That
misspelled
is
the
able
word
to-
dawn. Like D-O-N.
A female Dawn?
No, that would be the donne, the donna. I mean, the only thing that the way that this would possibly make sense is if they dropped the verb, which you can do in Latin if you intentionally drop the verb to be. So, before you are
To be dead?
done? No. Before you are
Ah.
done, that is
Wait,
able
yeah.
to come. It is a threat. There we go. It is a threat.
I've been
Okay,
saying so
good.
for the
Now I'm
past
ex-
10 minutes.
I'm excited again.
I would also like to point out that if you are going to threaten someone, you have to make sure that you at least write it the correct way that people can take it as
Yes.
a threat.
Then see. I'm not even taking it seriously right now because it's not even spelled correctly.
Or, expressing themselves is, it just makes me think that they're inefficient. And why would I be scared of someone who's going to try and threaten me if they can't even do that correctly?
Can I look at this paper for a moment?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's the corner I licked, so I wouldn't lick that one.
I was not going to lick anything.
Oh, all right.
Chris,
Yes, sir.
judging by Edwin's extensive knowledge of criminology, one of the things that he would have had a bit of experience with is handwriting. Deciphering physical traits or mannerism from the handwriting on the message, such as is the person left-handed, right-handed, sort of a basic psychological profile from how they write. Are their letters like curved properly and everything, or blah blah blah? What would I need to roll for that or draw for that?
What skill would you like to use to leverage that?
I think stealth.
Okay.
No.
That's physical.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going to work in this game. I'm guessing it would be a mental skill of some sort.
Yeah, I was thinking either perception or education.
My question is going to be, are you looking primarily at the details, or in your brain, are you cross-referencing it with the lessons that you learned? So is it...
No, that
the
would be
scrutiny that-
cross-referencing.
You're cross-referencing?
Yeah, definitely.
Then education.
All right, and education is a daimon, for which I have a 7.
Lucky 7. All right.
Oh, yeah, we
And what
still
is your
all
base
have our-
education?
We still all have our lucky 7 from last time, right?
That's true.
Yep,
You
until
also
the
have your
break.
7. And we also did get a donation tonight.
Yes.
Thank you to our Justice 282 of 500 bits. And that will convey a Deuces Wild that you still have active until the break. And so that's a +2. And then we will launch in a new one starting at the break.
I'll use mine now for a 9.
Okay, and what's your base education?
My base education is good.
Okay. So that's 6 plus 9, that's a 15. And you are looking to try and discern what you know about the writer.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, I will grant you plus what you've gleaned from the Contessa and the rest of the group. I will grant you a total of 5 questions you can ask about who you think or like the traits of the writer. You can confer with your group if you'd like to. And I will answer them honestly. No subterfuge.
Okay. My first question is, were they naked when they wrote that message? No, don't count that. Don't count that. But honestly, group, what do you think? What do we want to know?
Is there anger behind it?
I was just gonna ask, is this a threat?
So you're looking for emotional state.
Yeah.
Would that be a better way to put it?
Yeah,
Yes,
more
what is
than
the
just
emotional
anger.
state?
Yeah.
Okay. So based on the studies in which Edwin Thayer has done over a variety of ransom notes, death threats, and a variety of other handwriting samples, love letters between people that probably should not be writing love letters to one another, and other types of affairs, you would say that you do not sense any form of malice in the handwriting. In fact, there is a playful kind of lilt to the strokes of the pen.
Is it a love letter instead? Is someone in love with me?
Playful, not
I
necessarily
know.
in love, but
Maybe
But
they're
then
giving me
perhaps-
the key to their heart.
But then that could be the other version of cum that we were talking about then.
Could be. Though I promise you, it's hotter than just a death threat. Let's make that happen.
I don't know if the letter is long enough, the message is long enough to glean, like, what their level of education would be.
I think by the way they have written it and they butchered it.
Yeah, but then by the...
You can also get that from just the handwriting and how extensive their calligraphy is.
How graceful it is. And
Yeah, because back then there still were, like, classes that they taught cursive and everything, and that was like a thing that you had to
not only
nail
that,
down.
but calligraphy in and of itself was considered an art form that was reserved for upper classes. Now, that didn't mean that they were the only ones that did it, but in order to afford the proper inks and pens to make it look the way that people wanted it to, it could get pricey. So there's a lot of layers in there. So if that's the angle you want to go, we definitely can.
Yes.
If that's the kind of thing you're looking for.
Yep.
You would say, so is it the artistic value, like of the calligraphy you want to focus in on, or do you want to use that as one indicator of the education?
If it might just be two different questions, but I would go both for the quality of the ink and the paper, as in, are they expensive? What are the means of the person that wrote them? And also, judging from their calligraphy and everything, are they someone who are highly educated?
Okay. So the materials themselves are very high end. Now that you actually take the time to focus on it, there be gold in their ink.
How much gold would you say is in the ink? Is it more than the salary of a professor? Because if that's the case, I'm retiring.
No, there is not that much there. It's enough to be gaudy, but not enough to like scrape off and sell for a whole lot. You might be able to get a nice meal for 3 of you out of it if you could get all of it separated from the ink and someone actually wanted to go through the painstaking trouble of that. The paper itself is high quality paper. Ekaterina has already mentioned that it came from London.
Mm-hmm.
The weave is, that's how you can tell that it's high quality. It's sturdy, will not easily tear, or even, it's more almost like a cardstock in some ways. The strokes themselves of each letter are, like we said, playful. So it's not deliberate and careful. They definitely are well trained in calligraphy. With a 15. How deep do you want to go into their education with this question? Are you willing to sacrifice another question?
That would bring us to
4 total.
4 total.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. I have maybe a 5th that we're talking about in chat at the same time.
Okay.
So sure, let's burn one on that.
Okay. They probably came into learning calligraphy later in life. You can tell that even though it is playful strokes, there is a more methodical, it's more methodical in its nature than, or maybe a little stiff, rather than that of someone who learned starting at a very young age, when they were able to kind of just let themselves guide the pen. This is very following a lesson, but they've just done it over and over and over again. That the level of the ink, there's not a lot of blotting, it's very smooth, and that's why I say playful. The ends do not end in dots, they end in little sweeping motions. You're pretty sure that everything in it, potentially even the misspellings, could be on purpose. Because there is just that level of playfulness just keeps coming back, that if they were trying to threaten someone in a serious manner, or if it was a threat with everything that you've read, there would be a much more deliberate stroke. It would be very poignant. There would be some form of emphasizing the word death, but death isn't even capitalized. The first word is capitalized, and then the word done or done are the only words that are capitalized. And the D seems to have quite a bit of flourish to it.
Yeah, so does mine.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you put a lot of practice in and you make it gold flaked. It will have a lot of flourish.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, beware. Professor Thayer is a golden member of the club.
Oh, that wasn't in game. Yes.
Contessa has not seen any scene of this yet.
I'm going to stay in character and pretend you didn't say that.
Does the name the possibility of a name done mean anything to Elise? She doesn't have that great social connections, but may as well ask.
Sure. Are you looking to play a card, or you just kind of, it's just a thought running through your mind at this point?
Yeah, let's just play cards, because that seems like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, go for it.
What is, so that would be connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a spade?
Mm-hmm. Or a joker, of course, if you have one.
What does a joker do again?
It's 15 points and is sometimes considered to be, it can increase the success.
Okay. And we have a Deuces
+2,
Wild
yeah.
right now.
So you have a +2 from that.
So I have a good. So that's a 6. I'm just going to play that. Play the 7 of spades.
Okay, 7 of spades.
And I have good connections.
So that is going to be a 13. Are you adding your Deuces Wild as well?
Yes, please.
Okay, so 15 total. You don't know anyone who is of that name, at least not locally, that you can remember. You'd have to kind of think a little harder if you wanted to think about people, from back home or other places like that. But you do remember someone, actually, that you had met on the ship on the way over to New Europa from the Americas, and they were nice enough. You kind of spent some time getting to know them. It was an older woman who seemed to be a dowager of sorts, and you were trying to see if maybe this might be a good patron. A lot of listening, and she continued to go on and on and on about a Renaissance era poet with the last name Donne, Done, who was a priest.
Okay. I will ask.
The reason you remember is because she kept talking about how randy this priest was, and it just kind of stuck with you. Like, what? Why is she, this old woman, telling me about a risque poet from the Renaissance who was a priest? So it's kind of hard to block some of that out of your memory.
Fair. That is entirely understandable. And I will turn to my compatriots and tell them about my recollection of Dunn as a last name and the connection to the horny priest.
I have a question. Because Deirdre knows a lot about this particular poet.
Contessa, would you ever happen to have any books of poetry of this, as Elise put it, horny priest?
Mental is spades, right? Or diamonds? Diamonds. Okay, well, I'm just gonna burn this for right now. Our education is good. I know.
You got the Deuces Wild too.
I do have the Deuces Wild, so that'd give me a +3, so it'd be a 9.
Okay.
Right?
+2 from the Deuces Wild.
Yeah, so +2 plus the 1.
Yeah. So that's +3 plus a 6, so 9, yes. So which skill are you leveraging again? I'm sorry.
Education.
Education? Would you know of this person?
Yes. If she points out, like the poet.
Yeah, you know of the poet.
Not the person she met on the ship, but the poet.
Yeah. No, you would know of the poet. At this time period, I mean, he is a British poet, so I don't know how much the Contessa would actually have any of his works, but it's not something that would have been, well, it's something that would have been talked about in Victorian parlor talk because of the innuendos that were layered into a number of his poems. So
the epigrams.
Just. So it absolutely would be possible, or not possible. It would be something that she would have heard of and be familiar with on the surface level. How much she delved into them would be a personal choice on whether or not she tried to learn them due to the influences of, I don't know, the men she was dating.
I mean, there was that very stuffy Englishman that she took great pride in making slightly less stuffy.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
And I could see her entirely using off-color, innuendo-filled English poetry to cause Oberon Winters to just
Oh, very true. She may
turn
have
red.
actually recited the flea to him more than once.
Probably, which Flea is almost on Ovid level of, not quite Catullus, but it's on. So yes, okay. To which she would say that, yes, I have read the poems. They are quite a lot of fun.
Oh.
Oh.
Yes, they are full of innuendo, insults, and discussions of sex.
Well, it would explain the playfulness in the note and the flourish, perhaps, at Dunn's name, if that is indeed the Dunn and not Donne.
He is also an Englishman, and as you said, Ekaterina, that the letter came from London.
Yes. A taste of
Wow.
London.
And the professor pointed out that there are enough signs that this person is educated enough to have read poetry, possibly gone.
So they tried to flirt with me. I
Maybe.
don't quite get it.
Maybe it was really a love letter, after all. But in which poems of Donne's does death show up?
I think it's time for us to read some filthy poems.
It's better than going to a church.
I mean,
Right.
I can't recall, but I believe there is one.
Is there one where death comes?
Well, I guess apparently there's somewhere they call for death, and what is it? A holy sonnet. That is what it is called. I remembered because it was definitely not holy. Death be not proud.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. That is how it starts. Death be not proud.
Right.
I
Then should we read up on this poem?
Well, we're still on we're kind of walking and talking. Are we still on the university campus?
That's up to you all. I mean, I don't know at what pace you walk and how many times you stop to kind of look at one another, and how many gesticulations that the professor has made and almost knocked somebody over. Like, I don't.
But they're in Italy, so everyone's expecting everyone to talk with their hands.
There you go.
And I assume our skirts take up a little bit of room too to give us personal space.
I would, if we are still at the university, we might stop by the library. I'm sure they must have a copy of the entire thing. I can't recall the whole thing off the top of my head. But death be not proud. Though some have called for thee. That is how it starts. I do not recall the rest.
Yeah, I mean, there would be a good chance that the university library would have a copy of this. It is not obscure enough or recently published in such a way that getting a copy to Venice would be difficult.
What I know we're a little bit, but knowing that I have traveled and how weird Katerina is, would she have ever come across these poems that she may know it? I could roll education.
You could. I'm trying to figure out
Or-
what you would find practical or fantastic about them that would
A horny
cause
priest.
that would cause her to keep
Hmm.
that memory, not just enjoy it for the moment and move
Mhm.
on, but to hold on to it for a while. Because most of the
A
things that
poem with a
Ekaterina
good
holds on
idea.
to is a long time. So,
Let me see. Hmm. I mean, she does like knowledge
mm-hmm,
of all sorts,
mm-hmm,
mainly invention.
mm-hmm.
It's possible that she could have been trying to work on her social skills, to appeal to a higher class crowd to
Mm-hmm.
gain favor, money for
Fair
her.
enough. Let's do this. I'm going to shuffle the deck and I'm going to randomly pull a card. And I'll play the card. In this case, as per standards of cartomancy, a hearts is hell yes, you know this poem. Diamonds is maybe. You could play a card with a relevant skill to see if it's there. Clubs, you would want to play a card to know of the poem itself, but not the poem in its entirety. And spades is I've heard of him, but that's about it. Okay,
Okay.
so
Please, hearts. Come on.
let's see what we have.
I
And we
want to know a
have
raunchy poem. Damn
diamonds.
it.
So, if you'd like to play something, you have a chance. You obviously know of the author, you know of this poem,
Mhm.
but whether or not you remember the words and whether or not it's the one of his poems or a couple of his poems that stuck with you, because it is not the raunchiest of them.
True.
So,
So would I play a card to try and see how high I can go with the number, see if I
mhm,
remember it?
yep.
How
So
much would this be?
that's an 11. And you're going with education, right? Is that what you decided?
Yes.
And what's your base
Which is
education?
average.
Average. So that's a 4. That's exactly a 15.
And I
And
could add my deuces wild, should you wish.
you can add it if you wish. It is yours to use, not mine.
Yes, I really want to
Okay.
know this poem.
Okay. Then yes, you would recall this poem. And the poem itself, let's see here. I will put this link for you in chat. And maybe if I can remember how to actually get to Zoom again. I keep trying to put it in Roll20. There we go. And for those of you playing at home, oh, time of gifts. Thank you so much.
Yes, we just
Yay.
got a new donation of 600 bits, which means that we are gonna have also a new revelation.
Oh, we broke the
20 again.
The 20 again. Amazing. So we will take care of that either just before or just after the break.
And Tessa, how did you say that poem started?
Death be not proud. Though some have called for thee. That is the first line. It wasn't the one that really stuck out for me because, you know, there were
Death be
reasons I was
not
talking about
proud.
poetry.
Though some have called for thee, mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, not yet canst thou kill me. Let me see. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure, then from thee much more must flow, and soonest our best men with thee do go. Rest of their bones and souls delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and thus with poison, war, and sickness dwell, and popular charms can make us sleep as well. I'm better than thy stroke. Why swellest thou then? Uh, one short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. Is that it?
Yes, it is. It's one of his religious poems talking about, the resurrection and the death of.
Memorized it trying to impress this one lady.
Did it succeed for you?
Yes, but different way than I thought, though very positive.
Ah, it was a success.
How is this poem raunchy?
This one isn't.
Oh, okay. I was really racking my brain trying to find a double meaning to something.
The one,
it was quite difficult. I was stuck as well.
This one itself is not raunchy, She was an intellectual of sorts, so that's why.
If you want to know about the raunchy poem, that would be The Flea, or at least that is one of the best ones. And that was mark by this flea and mark in this, how little that which thou dost deniest me is. It sucked me first and now sucks thee, and in this flea our two bloods mingled be. Thou knowest that this cannot be said is sin, nor shame, nor loss of maidenhead. Yet this enjoys before it woo, and pampered swells with one blood made of two, and this, alas, is more than we would do. At least then it goes on for a while.
But
if we are in public while the Contessa is reciting that, Edwin's just looking left and right to see if we're drawing attention to ourselves.
Katerina's just like, that's beautiful. I like that one.
Elise is like, yup, that would be raunchy. Yeah.
And Josser doesn't really blink.
I mean,
the other thing is that death is oftentimes a euphemism in and of itself.
Oh yes, that is of course.
Well,
death is always
dying. Death personified is not, but the act of the verb to die.
Petit.
So,
I wouldn't want the symbolic version of death to die.
The raunchiest part of this, based on his past, would have been the piece where it says, "For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me." Basically, as an innuendo, translates to, you may think all those women you conquer are overcome with pleasure, but they're faking it.
John.
I mean,
and for those of you who didn't expect this, please check out English Renaissance and, even better, Jacobean poetry.
Can you type that in the chat so I can look it up later?
Interesting that this was written by a man. That's all I'm going to say about that.
And technically an Anglican priest at the same time.
How does he know?
He was a very
Confessions?
worldly person who was not stuck in his own ways. The Sun Rising is another good one. The Good Morrow and The Flea are the ones that are considered most of his risque poetry, but those things are laden throughout. He's no E.E. Cummings, but where basically everything is innuendo. But he's close.
Nice. I mean, with the name E. Cummings.
I mean, what do you do?
Mm-mm.
You just don't capitalize. That's what you do. You used zero capitalization. Everything was lowercase. That was his thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Yes. Now that we geeked out on a little bit of poetry there and literature, there is something that does seem to connect. You just don't know what yet. for this seems to fit, well, death may come, death may show up.
Yeah.
However, if it is in reference to this, it's not a threat because in the poem, what happens to death?
Death
Death is overcome.
dies.
Guys.
Death dies.
Before you, death shall come and die.
I have no idea. I'm very much of the opinion that Talbot is. See, and then she like literally turns and looks at Amor or Yasser, and she goes, "Remember when we said this conversation about the Prometheans, that they are just full on." Well, at least Talbot. Talbot is definitely a wannabe, a poser.
All of these words, death, dying, it reminds me specifically of fire and water. It is antithesis.
Hmm.
And there you are looking for something sort of fire that will light up underwater.
Do any of these Prometheans that you know have an obsession with a supernatural life or not dying or?
Well, there's a
Inordinately?
certain one who takes great pleasure in ending those who had attempted to continue his life through immortality of the very blackest of magics. But again, Father Korsakov is one of the few that's easier to deal with.
Okay.
Question mark.
It's also interesting because this note was to Ekaterina
Hi.
that before you, death will come and do what? Die?
Also, I
This
want to
was-
point
Before
out
you are
here.
done, death may come.
This
Were
was
you
found
done?
with
Death may
the
come.
cold iron.
So
Is
many
it-
things going on.
Is it
Ah.
real cold iron?
The key was called iron, yes.
That is very unique.
Well, I think if we show the key to the dwarf, they might be able to know where it came from specifically.
I agree. Maybe even with the Brix and Swizzle, if you catch them early on, before, well, even after several drinks.
Should we buy them a good bottle of liquor to sit in the pot?
Maybe a case.
Case. Can do.
Or
Contest.
a cask of
Cask?
wine, perhaps.
Cask of wine. You two who know Brix and Swizzle better, what would they prefer? A good whiskey, a cask of wine.
If I remember correctly, it was mead.
Mead. Where are we to find mead? Here.
Is mead sweetened wine? What is mead?
It's honey wine.
Honey wine, right?
Yeah, it's fermented honey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let's go find a good cask of mead, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I don't drink mead at Runfest. I stick with beer because it's just too sweet for me.
It's so good. If you get a good dry mead, oh, it's lovely.
They have like the dry stuff and it's really good. My friends love it. It's just I can have like a little bit and then I'm done. It's just too much sugar.
That is.
But I'm sure we can find a cask of mead in town.
Yes.
Yeah, just find a meadery.
Off to the meadery then. Not the meatery.
So, just to clarify, are we not going to the church anymore? Or are we doing the church on the way to the theater still?
Church on
Maybe.
the way to...
Yeah, maybe stop and look.
Okay. All right, we will keep an eye out for a meadery and head to the church.
All right.
So you're going to go and look for, well, not look for, but gaze upon the statue of John the Baptist at the, how is that pronounced again? They just call it by the last name. Fiare?
Fiare, La Fiare.
Mhm.
The Basilica Maria La Fiare.
Yeah, Santa Maria Glorioso Fiare, I think is the full,
Yeah.
like, academic, we're going to make you say too many syllables name. So, you reach there, and as you enter, you find the doors are open, of course, and there are grand, high ceilings, large windows, stained glass. There are people mingling about, some praying, some moving towards the confessional, others making their way toward the front, while others are leaving. Where specific, are you just making a beeline for the statue, or I don't want to assume?
Do you want to see the cathedral itself or the statue?
I think like the Contessa would, walk through very, very reverently, and she like actually will stop and get a veil from the nun at the door because she isn't wearing a hat.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll put it on like a mantilla as she walks in, and then she would come around. Then she would just start kind of like working her way through the church. Yeah. Ooh, it's a Gothic cathedral. Even cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yes. It is a Gothic cathedral. What are you looking for anything in particular as you make your way, or are you just kind of wandering
Just
through?
kind of looking for what would stand out as not belonging. Like the life-size statues, those belong. The giant carvings of the Stations of the Cross, always. The little corners with the statues of the saints and your various candles, she would stop at the one for the Virgin Mary and make sure to pay the, a couple coins and light the candle for her dear departed husband, as she, makes her way around. And then she's just kind of looking for what, as she approaches the statue, what doesn't belong here. Does that make sense?
As you make your way through, you find there's a lot to look at. It is a large place of worship with a large number of statues and shrines and iconography of various sorts. But there really does not seem to be anything that is clearly out of place. It's not it's very much like you would expect for a very large and ornate cathedral in a place such as Venice that has the trade routes and money that exchanges hands here. Much like St. Mark's Basilica, while it is beautiful, it is very much the expression of the wealth of the church. Not necessarily inventive, its architecture is stunning, but expected to be stunning. Its materials are very high quality. But, I mean, they are a step down from the Basilica San Marco. But that is definitely the jewel of Venice. However, this is not far behind, but speaks more to the wealth and power of the church than it might to the values of a blacksmith.
She's just taking.
Yeah. With the number of places that she's been, it doesn't feel out of the number of religious places that she has visited, and the number of people within the Catholic organization. It does not feel out of place in any way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. No, she'll just take a little note and make a little path and kind of take the moment and then wait for the others and then meet them at the door.
Okay.
But she'll let the others take their walk or whatever they wish to do.
I feel like Ekaterina's just been like following the contestants, like, I don't know what to do in these sort of situations.
Mm-hmm.
I think Amora would be very much the same.
You see, the church has not really been my thing.
Well, neither of you combust upon entering, so I think that all is well in that regard.
I do count that as a win.
I mean,
Elise as well.
Yeah, Elise as well.
I think Amora looks up at the lectern and knows well enough that that's not a stage.
Yes. And Amora is not going to try ascend the stage and say anything witty to the rest of the people there. That would not be fitting.
No, but I think Amora doesn't spend too much time in the cathedral because I don't think they would be able to restrain themselves over time.
That makes sense.
Edwin would approach the Contessa. Was there anything that you saw? You seem to be more familiar with these places than looking back at Ekaterina, Amor, and Elise than any of us.
It's a very nice church, and Donatello did a beautiful statue of San Giovanni Battista. But nothing that is not as it should be, or at least as far as I am aware. Are you uncomfortable in the church, Professor?
Not particularly, but it is not a place that I visit a lot, considering how busy I am with work.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone other than the Contessa bless themselves when they entered the church?
I leave that up to them. Did any of you choose to bless yourself when you entered the church?
I don't think Ekaterina would have known to bless herself.
That's fair.
I think Edwin would have if he saw someone else do it, but like would not have thought about it. Like it's not a reflex to him.
Yeah. Same.
Amor very much tries to blend in, so yeah, would have followed suit.
Same for Elise. It would be obvious though that it's what she kind of gathered as the Contessa doing and trying to replicate that as opposed to like genuine feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair. You would see it. I mean, everyone dipping their hands at the holy water at the door. And she would just smile and says, "No, I'm quite sure you are more comfortable in other locations, Professor." But we have some shopping to do and some very nice dwarves to visit.
I am ready to leave when you are.
I'll follow your lead, Contessa. You say there's nothing here. I don't know enough to tell you one way or the other.
Nothing that is immediately out of place.
Mm-hmm.
There might be something more we can gather from Brix and Swizzle, but as of right now, there is nothing immediately out of place.
Fair enough. Okay, so we should go to find a meadery and head to the theater?
I don't know that there's a meadery in town, but we can definitely get some at any one of the many places that sell alcohol.
Mm.
We can
Fair
do
enough.
that, yes.
All right. I guess we head out of the church.
Yep.
Excellent.
Katerina sees the holy water, dips her finger in, and just. Taste. Not good.
A lot of hands have been in there.
Okay.
And I don't know how much soap folks around here use.
That makes sense.
You never really developed a taste for human, so I think that it probably wouldn't, meet your palate anyway. So,
not what I thought it would taste like.
As you make your exit and work your way toward San Luca, Teatro San Luca, you find yourself a vendor who is selling a variety of different spirits and libations. Amongst them, there are a few fine bottles of mead.
I think Amor would offer to buy those.
Okay.
So you want to buy the mead for Brix and Swizzle?
If you would allow me.
Of course. Of course, Amor. You're very kind.
I don't know that we will get a taste unless we open it first.
Ah, and smart.
And so I'll take the bottles up unless someone was being a clerk for us for this.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, Miss Elise,
Mm-hmm.
have you thought about that proposal I gave you?
Out of character. Which one?
A date.
Oh, yes. I have. And I find myself rather amenable to it.
Good. I do wish to learn more about you.
And I you.
If you do, grace me with information about you. I'll, like I said, you may see behind my sunglasses.
The only thing better than an evening with a completely pleasant and wonderful person such as yourself is an evening graced with intrigue to boot.
Intrigue I can do.
Excellent.
She'll offer her arm to her.
Elise will take it.
Give a smile to the Contessa.
There's this moment of nod and it's like, yeah, I see you.
I see you seeing me.
I should also point out that there is a very, very famous crypt at the Basilica La Fiera
Ooh.
of a very famous Venetian
Mm.
and a performer of that.
Oh, wow.
And who is this famous performer?
Giacomo Casanova.
Oh.
Oh.
Yep.
It's a very unique.
I shall certainly have to go back and take a look at that.
Piece.
You have to be a really, really dedicated for your name to become a word meaning womanizer. Raunchy
Challenge.
poetry and a womanizer. Today has been very interesting.
Italians. But also Englishmen. I don't know. Surprises all around.
The English like to pretend that they are not involved in such things. The Italians just admit it outright and take pleasure in embracing it.
Fair enough. They're too busy having fun to pretend they're not.
That has always been my perspective.
Yes, it's true. The English like to hide behind fans and closed doors that are slightly ajar so that people can gossip about what they hear.
And you make your way to the Teatro San Luca. There's not much hustling and bustling at the moment. Most everything is typically crew, not really cast, as they are working on getting set up for the new drama that will unfold. But among them, as is every day, 2 dwarves. Well, you assume they're among them because you can hear their voices bantering back and forth underneath the stage and echoing throughout the acoustics within the theater. Which seems kind of odd because it shouldn't be echoing out from under the stage unless they've gone and done something.
I will turn to Amor. That doesn't sound right, does it?
No. Something is amiss.
We should go check.
The plot thickens.
All right.
Amor looks worried.
All right. I guess Elise and Amor will go head in that direction.
Yep.
Katerina will follow.
As you make your way to the stage, their voices actually carry quite loudly. It's a little unsettling how loud it gets the closer you get to the stage. You'll notice the rest of the crew seems to be doing their best to keep busy as far away from the stage as they possibly can, some of which have just flat out given up, and you can see them in the balcony sitting there kind of plugging their ears and trying to take a nap.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Shall we go find him?
Yes, let's find out what's going on.
Okay. We'll go and attempt to find either the source of the noise
under the stage?
Yes.
Or
Okay.
Brix and Swizzle. The first, whatever we find first.
Okay. So if you're going under the stage, you will find Brix and Swizzle around some sort of contraption that you haven't seen before, having a grand conversation. Underneath the stage, it's not very loud at all. In fact, it's normal volume. as soon as you dip under there, your ears quit ringing, and everything seems a little better. And they look at you and go, "Oh, hello there. Amor, right?
Yes.
And Elise?
Yes.
Of course it's Amor and Elise, Brix. You didn't forget their names. No, but so many people go by different names all the time. We're the only ones that seem to ever have the same name every time we go to the same place. I never
Monsieur.
know who I'm supposed to call what.
Monsieur,
Yeah, yes.
is there something wrong? You are speaking very loudly out in the theater.
I'm what? And all of a sudden there's like this high-pitched sound, like some sort of speaker has pushed past its limit.
Oh dear.
Is there some sort of device? What is this?
Oh, yes. This is... I don't know. What is it, Swizzle? Well, you see, it's kind of a... amplifier. Yes. It's an amplifier.
Is it possible to turn off for the moment?
Well, of course. They turn it off. And outside the stage, you can't hear a peep now from under the stage. Everything seems to have gone back to normal.
That's quite interesting.
What was it amplifying?
Well, some sort of sound. I mean, once we hooked it up to some sort of sound.
From what I could tell, that sound was you and your voices.
It was us and our voices.
Yes,
And they
it
both
was
looked
your
down.
Voices.
Did you? No, I thought you did. Why would I? We didn't mean to plug in the receiver already. And you'll see Swizzle reach down and unplug some sort of contraption that has a cable of sorts and wrap the cable around it and stick it into his one of the pouches on his work apron. And Brix goes, "We didn't even have it in position yet. It probably echoed everywhere. Huh. I wonder if it shook the paint off the ceiling or at least the dust. I don't know whose job it is. And every time I look up there, I can see the dust from here. And I'm short.
It
Why
certainly
can't you
woke-
tall people see that?"
It certainly woke everybody up. I'll tell you that.
Fair enough. Were people sleeping? That seems rude.
They weren't able really to concentrate on whatever work they were doing, so they decided to take a nap. Well, try to nap.
That seems counterintuitive. If there's too loud to concentrate, it's obviously too loud to sleep. Swizzle goes, "Probably a nap of protest. You do it all the time, Brix." I do. Well, okay, fine. Whatever. Oh, did you have a question for us? I mean, you came all the way down here. I would love to think that it's because you just missed us and wanted our presence again. But,
Actually, it is somewhat like that. And Amor will pull out a bottle of the mead.
oh, break time. And you'll see Brix grab the bottle and wander out from under the stage. And Swizzle goes, it's, where's my watch? Huh. And then he'll follow Brix, saying, "It's not break time. You know that. We've got all kinds of work to do. We can work later."
It is like kids with sweets.
Uh-huh.
I say to Elise.
It sure is. Well, we should go catch them.
Yeah.
We'll follow them. Try to
Okay.
keep up. Well, hopefully it won't be hard. Are they?
You follow them, and they actually just go and sit on the edge of the stage.
All right.
So they just walk out front, sit on the edge of the stage. Brix pops open the bottle and takes a big swig out of it. And Swizzle goes, "Where are your manners? You don't even use a glass anymore?" "Where are the glasses? If you have one, show it to me and I'll use it."
I think there might be some back end props. I will go and get some, and Amor will wander off in search of glasses.
The rest of you see two dwarves come out from underneath, one with a bottle, the other one kind of chasing after them, talking about whether or not it's break time.
Well, are they if they're at least when she has a moment, she's like, "Well, I've been remiss. Allow me to introduce you to my companions. This is," and then I will go around and do the introductions while we wait for Amor to come back with the glasses, just in the hopes that they won't run away while Amor is busy. Basically, just trying to like keep them occupied in place, like
Fair
kids. Look at this shiny thing.
As you, how do you make the introductions?
I will go around. I will first introduce the Contessa to them. I'm sure they've seen her around, right?
You will see
knows.
Brix kind of raise an eyebrow and say, "Contessa," like he's wondering whether or not that's the name that you choose to actually go by.
That is an appropriate title. It is very nice to see you again, Mr. Dwarf.
Oh, yes. Good to see you, too. She has some of the best wine in, well, where was that? Barcelona. Yeah. Best wine in Barcelona, right out of her glass. You should try it sometime. And he turns to the rest of you. And
I would also point out that it wasn't out of my glass that you were drinking. It was out of the bottle. So I don't know why you're concerned about glasses now.
Why can't it be both? And on that note, we're going to go to break.
Alrighty.
Okay.
We will be back soon.
Yep, stick around everyone. Grab something to drink, stretch your legs, grab a snack, maybe some mead, and we'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. With the revelation and all the stuff that we need to do.
Yep.
See you soon.
You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep in thought nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep in thought nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep in thought nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who, deep in thought, nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein.
And we're back. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woohoo. I didn't know if you wanted to do any more like sponsors. We're back from the break.
No. I thought we would jump in with the revelations from earlier, thanks to all of our donations.
We have a revelation and a lucky 7. So we're going to start with the lucky 7. And let's see, we have all 5 players. Dooby-dooby-doo. So let's go with how can I split this up out of 52 cards? Okay. I am going to deal, because we don't have all of them. Some of them are in your hands. we're going to go ahead and deal a card here to myself, which I will play. And in the trying to think here. How do I split the... No, I'm just going to use dice. That works better. So I'm going to use Roll20 for that. We have... I'm going to roll 1d5, and we're going to go clockwise, starting with Jasser. So, Kenny, you are 1, Elise 2, Lucky 3 for Deirdre, 4 for Simon, and 5 for Adriana. And we get a 4. Simon, Lucky 7. You now have 2.
Yay! No, I spent one. No, I didn't spend one. I drew a natural 7. That's true.
And you all have another +2 for the next, basically, 2 halves of a game, since we started them halfway through last game. So we still have that Deuces Wild from earlier. And we will do another roll 1d5. And Adriana. You.
Me.
Have a divine revelation.
I have a divine revelation. Man.
So, based on what we have that has occurred from last game to this game, from the flowers on through the poems and discussion of debauchery, what skill that is currently at average for your character do you want to bump to good?
I would like to bump my education
Okay.
to good.
So we're going to bump education to good. And what in particular is it going to reveal about your character? Doesn't have to be a secret. It can be part of their past. But what are you going to reveal to the audience about Ekaterina von Stein?
Let's see. Maybe we'll go with what she had mentioned, learning this poem to impress a certain crowd. Well, she seems a little all over the place. A lot of people don't think her inventions are solid. Not really liking that jittery attitude, one might say. But she does do her research, and in this event, she not memorized, but actually learned and quite enjoyed this poem that she had read out to her compatriots recently to impress a certain high class lady in hopes of gaining funding for her inventions. Let's see.
So, because this was an English poet and an Anglican priest, do you assume, would it be safe to assume that this is either someone who is English or maybe of a religious persuasion?
There would definitely be English.
Okay.
Possibly of a religious persuasion. So, she did impress said lady.
Okay.
Did not end up in funding, but in other activities between the two.
Okay.
That the family was not happy with, and she was chased out.
Ah, I see. So, instead of funding your projects, it funded your heart and your excitement, shall we say. And we will say...
That was the last time she was in England.
And this person was Sabine. Sabine, we'll go with Osborne. Is the woman's name. And that was the last time that Ekaterina was in London or all of England?
London, I would say.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I got a pretty new frame now.
Mm-hmm.
So excited.
All right. Did you study anything else about this author, or was it just the poem?
I think I would have definitely picked her interest as certain other poems, and which would have led to playwrights because she does like the opera. So maybe she assumed because she does enjoy opera, she should give plays a chance. Well, even though that some of them do not have music that she likes, and she did quite enjoy it.
Gotcha. Fun. So now that we have a little bit more insight into Ekaterina and her travels and adventures, shall we say, let's move on to our conversation with Brix and Swizzle.
Well,
Why can't it be both?
I don't think it was that long that it took Josser to go to the properties department and come back with several mismatched different glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And
somewhere.
How, I don't know, closely are you paying attention to what's going on?
Josser?
Yeah.
Or Amor?
Yeah.
I don't know. They feel very at home in the theater. And so I think they would have kind of almost an innate awareness, kind of like, when the front door opens of your house and you know that someone's entering your house. Something like that. Okay.
So as you're making your way onto the stage, you notice that there's a lively conversation, and Brix is gesticulating with the bottle in hand. And as you approach, you'll notice he exclaims, "Well, why can't it be both?" And he begins to tip the bottle. Would you like to attempt to either upright it, slide a glass underneath it, or just watch as it may or may not spill on the stage?
What
kind of entrance does Amor want to make, basically?
They would dash in and slide a glass under, and I will even play a card for this.
Awesome. Oh, that's a good one, too. So, for that one, what are we going to go with there? Is that athletics?
Yep, which they are average.
That's still a 15.
Yep.
And very deftly and with panache, you'll see José swoop in and just slip a glass underneath the bottle as Brix tips it over, pouring it about a third of the way full before he realizes that José is there and kind of starts and rights the bottle and goes, "Oh, ha! Well, that was very kind of you to pour Swizzle a glass. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't get any." Swizzle says, thank you, and takes the glass from your hand.
And that is why you cannot have both.
Fair enough.
And Amor will produce several more glasses and say, "We do have a few more guests."
They're all collected at this point. Introductions were made as you were walking up. Well, they started with the Contessa. Carry on. Who are the other guests?
Well, it seems as though you already know the Contessa, but this here is Professor Edwin Thayer, a professor of criminology, admittedly a subject I do not know much about, but the professor can tell you anything you'd like to know.
Ooh, I've always wanted to say it. Is the game afoot?
It, there are specific scenarios in which you would utter these words, and they are not to be taken lightly. They are the sign of a trained bloodhound on the trail of a criminal.
See, I told you, Swizzle, we needed a dog. You didn't let me stop in Frankfurt and get a dog. But there wasn't time. Well, that doesn't matter. And how are we going to feed it? What are you going to feed it? You can't feed it ale. Whatever. And he takes a drink from the bottle. And Swizzle goes, criminology, very interesting. Study of crimes, right? Yes.
Yes, the study of crime.
So, can you tell what crime I've committed? And he takes a sip from his glass very slowly and gives you a weird look. You're not sure if he's flirting with you or trying to be snarky, but it's one of the two.
You want to know what crime has been committed? Where? When?
No, what crime I've committed.
Oh, that you've committed. I take a look at them.
Testing your skills, Professor.
That's Brick or Swizzle?
Swizzle. Brix is busy drinking.
I would wager some form of public drunkenness.
Nope, that's Brix. Just because we're short doesn't mean we're the same.
Accessory to public drunkenness.
Guilty. I told you you would get us both in trouble. You have to stay home when you're going to drink that much. But I always drink that much. Yeah, and we don't want you staying home when you drink that much. That's fine. Just don't get caught this time. Stay away from the criminologist.
And don't worry, my friend. Your other crimes are safe with me.
I've done other crimes. Interesting. Brix, did you hear that? I've done other crimes. I don't know what he's talking about.
And finally, the inimitable Ekaterina von Stein, who is just a genius of all sorts and really just the most interesting person to talk to.
Well, of course. Look at her. She's
Look
tall
at me.
enough. I'd have to climb her.
Has happened before.
You could call her Mountie Katerina.
Hmm.
Have to have a Sherpa.
And
I'm just talking about having, face-to-face conversations. I'm not talking about anything lewd. I'd leave that for probably the professor. The elbow patches. Always gives them away.
That's very true, Professor. Well, I must say that I do have quite an interest in meeting you, for I do have a certain piece of metal that I'm most interested in knowing where it came from. And I was wondering if you two could help.
She said interesting metal. Yeah, I smelled it when she walked in the building. You're not supposed to tell them that. They're supposed to be able to give you like the, unveiling, and it's supposed to be ooh and ah. I know, but they only brought one bottle of mead. I'll give them more of a show if they brought more. What?
I have a couple of bottles. And
okay, then. Forget I said anything. Show it.
Oh, I don't worry about the oohs and ahs. Don't worry. And she'll open her jacket and just take out the key.
I told you it was not a weapon. Not big enough. Wasn't pungent enough. Didn't tickle my nose hairs. Well, tickle your nose hairs? Seriously, Brix? Who says that? So, yeah, cold iron key.
Yes.
Interesting.
Very. I have no idea where it came from.
Did you try licking it?
I did.
Can I try licking it?
You may.
Thank you. And Swizzle will take the key from you.
I like that part in case you have weird germ issues.
He dips it in the mead and then shakes it out in the glass a little bit, wipes it on Brix, and then starts sniffing it up and down the key a little bit. And then, yeah, he licks the key in a couple different places. Interesting teeth. Oh, that's weird. Where did you get this?
A secret admirer of sorts.
Oh, you get the best presents.
I do.
Brix, we need admirers like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Amor, we love you, and the mead is amazing.
Merci.
But cold iron, now that's a treat.
I was very excited.
This is recently made.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where it came from?
No.
Well, how'd you get it?
It's gifted to me.
Yeah, but like in what form? Carrier pigeon?
In an envelope.
Envelope.
Left in this very upper house for me.
Where'd the envelope come from?
England.
English cold iron. That's why it didn't tickle his nose hairs.
The English don't tend to tickle many things.
Well, you see, it actually has. Well, now that was funny. I see where you went with that. Well, it has more to do actually with the climate and the number of druidic circles, along with the soil pH, and well, their flames are just a little different when you light them. But yeah, you can forge it there. It's a little harder, which takes out some of the I don't know, the whiskey burn. Yes, Brix. Okay, the whiskey burn. He likes to call it the whiskey burn. It kind of tickles the back of your nose, and he says it tickles your nose hairs. But really, it's more like when you have something that's really spicy or something that has that effervescence. That's a good
word.
word.
You're talking about, yes.
But yeah, English forged cold iron is typically a little bit more bland, like their food. Sorry.
No apologies. You're not wrong.
Are any of you English?
Not this time.
Not this century.
Good.
No.
Then, you know, we won't feel bad yet. So, what can we help you with?
I don't. Sorry, go ahead, Katerina.
I was just going to ask for my key back.
Oh, right. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a treat.
If I find what it's meant for and I've used as one-time use, I might come back and just release it to you, should you wish.
Well, it's for a lock.
Yes, a key usually is for a lock.
Yeah, but this one is not for a lock that is attached to most things. This is a lock, not to a door, not to a box.
Padlock?
Not really. Some sort of submersible. I think the word you're looking for is buoy.
A buoy.
But how is a buoy a submersible?
So, Have you seen an iceberg?
Yes, I'm very aware of the mechanics involved with the buoy, but I wouldn't have called it a submersible.
But have you seen an iceberg?
Yes. No,
Yes.
sort of.
There's a lot more under the water than there is over the water. Most buoys don't do that. This one does. Otherwise, why would you have a key like that? You've got to be hiding something. I mean, if it's just a normal buoy without a cold iron key, then there'd be no reason to have the submersible aspect of a buoy. It'd just be out there for the fishermen.
Is there anything about the key that could tell us where this buoy could be?
Well, it's not freshwater. It's kind of salty.
Have you
I
been to
did
this
taste
buoy?
that.
I don't know about any buoys. I don't go swimming. Short legs.
Mm.
Interesting.
Also, don't float. I sink like a rock.
Well,
There was another thing that brought us here. While we were talking about this cold iron key, it reminded me of a certain dwarf that y'all had mentioned to me in the past. Someone who is named Rolf, perhaps named Rolf van Gribben. And
Oh, right. That's the whole reason we came here, wasn't it, Brix? Well, that's supposedly what we came here, and then we got sidetracked by this theater. And then, Amor shows up, and we actually have a friend here, so we stopped looking.
what were you looking for him for?
What were we looking for him for? I don't know. We just wanted to say hi. Oh, that's right. The sister's cousin's uncle's friend wanted to say hi. We were delivering a message.
Who is the Horst von Gribben?
Blacksmith, supposedly lives in Venice, has for a while.
Right.
At least the recent one has.
The recent one.
yes, remember, Rolf von Gribben is a title.
So it's not a new title. There's been more than one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It goes all the way back to the discovery of cold iron.
It was originally a name, right? And then it became a title.
That's the legend. I think it's an alias. I think it was a way to hide themselves, so that way the Unseelie didn't find them. They're scary.
I figured the cold iron would help with that.
Well, yeah, but have you met the Unseelie?
And a more kind
There's
of drifts off.
And there's this moment of like the Contessa kinds and trying to make eye contact with Amor. It's like, yes, we have.
They're scary.
Oui, monsieur, they are.
Even after, somebody drops a house on them. Or at least a staircase.
No, dropping a staircase on them would actually do some harm. If they're in this world.
It depends on how close their portal is.
True. Portals do have an effect. Especially the gravitational pull of some of them. If it gets reversed or tampered with, it could repel them. Do you remember the time that we did that to the one guy?
Ekaterina's writing things down as we talk.
Never been forgiven nor invited back to any of their summer solstice parties. Wonder why. Well, that's what happens when you drink too much Fey wine. Oh, no. Brix, that's what happens when you drink too much Fey wine. When I drink too much Fey wine, I pass out. Anyway, sorry. Digression.
Do you think the current Rolf von Gribben would be able to tell us anything more about this key?
Oh, I'm sure she could.
Okay. That's why we were looking for her.
I have some questions. The current Rolf van Gribben is not a dwarf.
What do you mean?
The pronoun you just used.
Mm-hmm.
Are they not female dwarves?
They look at one another and then look back at the Contessa and say, your point.
To my knowledge, there are no female dwarves. They just turn to fae.
Mm-hmm.
So then they are not a dwarf.
Semantics.
Very intriguing. I did not know that that title could pass that way. It is very intriguing to me. I study the way titles are, passed and cultural norms and all of these things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you can pass the trials, you can wear the crown. Except there isn't really a crown. It's a leather apron.
What do they have to prove to be Rost von Kribben?
Well, titles for a blacksmith. And a blacksmith that does what?
Old iron.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right on the money.
How could a fae
Yeah.
make gold iron? I didn't think that was possible.
About to say.
She sounds exceptional indeed.
Brix takes another drink and smacks Swizzle upside the head. I told you shouldn't have said that. Well, otherwise they'd be running around looking for someone that looked like you and me. They'll never find out where that address leads if they continue to think that they look like us. Good point.
I put another bottle of mead on the stage.
Brix pours what is like 4 drops left into Swizzle's glass and then grabs the other bottle of mead. Is it opened already?
Yes. While everyone was talking, I've been
pouring and sharing
and opening bottles. And I kept one off to the side.
Okay.
I uncorked it and set it down on the ground.
There you go. Well, thank you. See, I told you we were friends. I know. You tell me that all the time. I mean, Amor is a wonderful human, and they have always treated us well. You are still human, right?
For the most part.
Okay, good. I just didn't want to, forget or get it wrong.
I appreciate that. No, I'm human.
Excellent.
It's a reason you would be human.
It is a story for another time.
Is there a reason that you wouldn't be human?
Would there be?
She gets it. Of course she gets it. Did you look at her? Mount Ekaterina. She gets it.
Oh, I like that name.
It's very prominent.
Thank you.
And he sits up all straight like that.
Is there anything else you might be able to tell us about Ross von Kribben that might help us find her? Given that you don't want us running around looking for someone who looks like you.
I don't know. Did we leave anything else out? We gave him the address. You let it slip that she's a she.
Perhaps we should share the note. I had a thought, a disturbing thought. If maybe we are being used to track this Rost von Kribben on behalf of Nancy Lee.
Ooh, that would be terrible.
You said that you were coming here to share a message with her. What was the message?
I told you. Hello.
Who sent it?
Your sister's cousin's friend?
Sister's cousin's uncle's friend.
Uncle's friend, right.
Mm-hmm.
Might they have a name that we might possibly know? Because I unfortunately haven't been introduced to your sister's cousin's uncle's friend.
No, it's her sister's cousin's uncle's friend.
Oh. You understand now my confusion.
Is a cousin. Which cousin was it? What side of the family? I don't remember. I was drinking. You were the one talking. Okay, so that would have been that one. Then the uncle would have been. No, that can't be right. Not that uncle. That would have been weird. So it would have been that uncle. And the friend was. Oh, Rhyme.
So Rhyme wanted to send a message to Ross van Gribben.
Yeah, to say hello. Been a while since they'd met.
All right.
I mean, when Rhyme, asks you to do something, you usually say yes. It's kind of rude to tell him no. He's always busy in the castle, never really gets out much anymore. Always tinkering.
Tinkering, you say?
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, that's the fun part. But you kind of have to see the world sometimes. Tinker other places. Tinkering in one building is kind of, boring.
That is true. To expand your knowledge, you must travel.
Mm-hmm.
If not, you're tinkering the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. Then you just become like, I don't know, a plumber.
Exactly. Which, nothing wrong with being a plumber, but if you want to expand what you work with, your inventions, what you tinker with, you must expand your view.
Yeah, exactly.
I like you two very much.
I mean, that would be like Elise singing only one note.
Exactly.
I mean, she'd sing it very well, but it'd still be one note. Or Amor only knowing one play. Not even one play. One line from one play.
It would be Shakespeare.
Which line?
Which play?
That I would need to think.
You seem so sure I had to ask. Apologize.
Well, I mean, when there are that many options, when you say the word Shakespeare or the name Shakespeare, it is kind of a broad basket still to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked out damn spot. It's not about laundry. Just because you spill your wine doesn't mean that the play's about you. Sorry.
No, that is not about laundry.
I like the stage direction that says, exit chased by bear.
I was going to say the same thing.
We'll talk about it over our date then.
Sounds like a plan.
Ooh. Sounds great. You guys should have some mead when you Brix throws back some more. It's really tasty.
I tend to stay away from alcohol.
So I can drink out of your glass. And he'll reach over and grab the glass that Amor poured for you and drink it.
Yeah. You're more than welcome.
See? A lady of class. I like you.
Most do.
And a sense of humor. No wonder you guys are going out on a date. Elise is a good one. Mm-hmm. We like her too.
I like her very much.
So, what do you need from us? Did you figure out the clue?
A little.
So, was it Rhyme that gave you the address?
Yes. How else were we supposed to find her?
Did he give you a how to decode it? What's the name?
Cipher?
A cipher.
A key. The key for the cipher.
The key for the cipher? Well, the cipher is the city of Venice. The key? What else did he say? No, he didn't say that. And they're just staring at one another. Oh, yeah. He said something about praying. No. playing? I don't remember. We came to the theater because we thought it had something to do with drama. It did have something to do with drama. He said there was a play where you pray, or pray where you play, or I don't remember.
Pray.
We were both drinking that time. We had hoped he wrote it all down, but he only gave us the address. That's why we hadn't found her.
Is there a...
If you find her, can you tell her that our friend Rhyme says hello?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That would be much help to us.
And just for my curiosity, which castle was it that Rhyme tinkered in?
Falkenstein. For King Ludwig. He's been there a while. One of the most famous tinkerers of all of New Europa.
I mean, if I were to work in Castle Falkenstein, I don't think I would need to travel. Or want to, for that matter.
I should visit.
Why?
The place seems gorgeous.
No, it is.
Probably
It's
filled
St.
with
Mark's
secrets.
Basilica. Have you been in there? There's a hand.
Was it... I'll turn to the Contessa. Was it the Basilica we were in?
No, we went to a different basilica, but I can introduce you to the St. Mark's Basilica. And it's not a hand, it's a whole arm.
Is there a hand attached to it?
At the end, yes.
There's a hand attached to an arm, apparently. Don't touch it, though. Or is it don't let it touch you? I don't know. Something about letting it, giving it permission to come inside is the bad thing to do after midnight if you've had a snack.
I think that's something else.
I thought it was
I
gremlins.
am
I was like,
really
it
behind
did
on my
sound like
human
gremlins
religion.
to me too.
It sounds like gremlins, yeah.
What are gremlins? Is it Venice
They're
boogeyman?
They're little, nasty, unseelie creatures.
I mean, they're cute some of the time, but you have to follow the rules. And no one ever follows the rules.
When they all come in a swarm, then it gets really scary.
And you know what? Even exterminators can't get rid of them. You literally have to move. They are the most annoying pests. You think cockroaches are bad? Get a case of gremlins. They mess with all your tinkering. They steal parts. They blow things up.
Oh.
Next thing you know, you're having to replace a bunch of things and pay people for things that you've already bought 4 times.
I would hate gremlins then.
They also eat
100%.
people.
Well, I mean, that's why they try to blow things up. They like their food fried.
To be fair, there are
to
many
know.
things that eat people.
True, but usually they're bigger and not smaller.
I don't know. I mean, piranhas can eat people, I think. They're smaller than a gremlin.
Yes, but they don't tend to actually eat people.
I believe it's many of them all at once.
Yeah, it's a swarm. Pack
Well, see?
tactics.
Like gremlins. You get a swarm of them, it's over.
So we
Gotta
don't
move
touch the arm or feed it.
after midnight.
Okay.
And it should not get wet. So, like, you're pretty sure not to have a problem with gremlins in Venice.
Well, unless it sinks. Oh, that would be terrible. That would be terrible. Don't tell the World Crime League.
I have problems with the World Crime League already. I don't need their... They're causing me more stress.
Oh, you do?
That's a story for another time, Professor.
Then you might like the third part of my lecture.
I'm quite looking forward to all the parts of your lecture.
Third part? Yeah. That was the part about the thing with the people in France. Oh, right. We bought out the 4th row.
Oh! You'll enjoy it. I'm fairly certain of it.
Do we tell him now that we're trying to scalp tickets so we can get more mead? No, just pretend like you're going. Yes, I'm sure we'll enjoy it.
I have a lot of emotional attachment to this lecture, and I cannot state how much it warms my heart to hear that you two here, friends of Amor, friends of Elise, are going to attend. Friends of
Don't
friends
forget the
are always
Contessa.
welcome.
We know
Oh,
the Contessa,
friends of the
too.
Contessa, yes.
Well, she's been friendly to us. I don't know. You'd have to ask her if we're actually friends.
Always
chuckles.
welcome to be, always happy to be friends.
If you butt out the row, I don't seem to have tickets for that evening. Would it be possible to join you?
Sure. Hey, that was our mead money. No, they bought us mead. Right. Yeah, sure.
Quietly set another bottle down.
There you go.
Also, Mr. Brick and Mr. Swizzle, if I were you, I would probably develop some sort of sign language when you try to speak amongst yourselves, or at least do anything but stage whisper. I could hear everything.
Oh, good. His ears aren't broken.
Scalping is a
think-
crime.
Mm-hmm. We were testing you, criminologist.
Are you a police officer, Professor?
Oh, no, I'm identifying that that is a crime.
Because he's a criminologist. He studies crime.
Yes.
And
But
as far
he's
as
stopping you. No, he's not.
as far as crimes go, this isn't the most ingenuous or the one that will get you the most mead, for that matter.
Yeah, but we don't usually stoop to that level. We just thought it'd be funny to see if you actually took offense to us trying to commit a crime in your name.
Well, you're not doing it in my name.
People actually want to go see that lecture.
Yeah,
I mean, people really want to go see that lecture.
Great.
We were going to try and ask favors of a large number of police officers for those tickets, but you all are a lot more fun.
I think that's a great compliment.
Yes, it's a reciprocal arrangement, I feel.
Indeed.
What else can I do for you? Because he's going to start telling stories here pretty soon.
Yes, and some of those stories are quite entertaining. The first 2 times you listen to them.
And the other ones don't make any sense.
Nope, you can start hearing about random animals and limbs.
Well, if we have what we need, not that I wish to be a pooper of parties, but I have another lecture tomorrow, so the more we can pack into this day, the better it'll be for me. Otherwise, I'll have to call it a night, and
Indeed.
I would rather not part with all of your company so soon.
What else would you call it other than night?
Evening.
Work.
You're a night worker. No shame. I understand.
At the theater, aren't most of us?
But we're indoors. I don't know where he's
Fair.
been. Have you seen his shoes?
I haven't. I'll take a look at them.
Exactly.
They're like average shoes, I guess. Probably a little scuffed.
A little bit of mud here or there. Nothing major.
No, he's not like part of high society or anything, so he doesn't have like 500 pairs of shoes to wear for 500 different occasions.
Is the Contessa like looking around, being like, who's talking about? Can't be me.
I don't know who would have 500 pairs of shoes for 500 different occasions.
But yeah,
Well,
so
I I don't think I have anything else for them.
Maybe when this mystery is solved, Brix and Swizzle, I could come and talk tinkering with you.
Sure. BYOB. Bring your own bribe.
Me.
Means he likes to drink and he prefers to do it socially.
It's not social if you're the only one drinking, just so you're aware.
But I'm doing it with people. That means I'm socializing.
Can you only socialize when you drink?
I don't know. Swizzle, am I any good at socializing when I'm sober? I'm not getting into this conversation again. You cannot bait me with this conversation, Brix. And they will continue to kind of banter back and forth.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
Where would you like to head next?
What time is it?
At this point? Oh, no, I'd say 4:45.
Okay.
You haven't spent that much time. I mean, the lecture went noon to 3. Walking there, picking stuff up, heading to Brix and Swizzle. It does not take them very long to drink. Yeah, I mean, you did make it out of the university courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you made it back out of the cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
Are we leaving the theater?
I don't know, are you?
I know something about praying and playing, or playing while praying.
I did want to talk about that, but perhaps somewhere we could be a little more secluded.
I think Amor will run off for just a moment. I would like to leave a note for the proprietress.
Okay.
And they will go off and do that. And then we'll come back. We'll come back after people have decided where to go.
Okay.
Does a place to pray and play, did any of that mean anything to any of y'all?
I mean, the only thing that I can think of is that there's the tomb of Casanova in the Basilica.
Yeah, you mentioned, but why would that come to mind?
Because people pray at the tombs. And let's be honest, Casanova was very much of the playing sort.
Fair.
But
could there be a hidden...
Are you guys still like standing around the stage while those two are kind of like bantering back and forth?
I think we would kind of like moved off.
We were moved, yeah.
Yeah,
I did mention I wanted to talk about it somewhere secluded. So I think we'll probably walking out as we wait, not too fast because we're waiting for more to catch up too.
And about the time the Contessa says that like screeching sound of a speaker reconnecting happens, and you hear, "Not that kind of playing, you pervert. Why would we come to a theater if we were looking for that kind of playing?" And then it disconnects.
I think Amor would show up directly after, be like, "We need to leave."
Why wouldn't you want to play that way anywhere? And the Contessa just kind of uses that to flounce her skirts and keep walking. She has no shame about what she does.
And as you exit the Teatro San Luca, figuring out where it is that you plan to discuss your next step, we are going to close on this episode of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. I want to thank all of our audience members. I want to thank those who have blessed us with not only their presence and their commentary, but also with their donations and their well wishes. And I will turn it over to you, Simon.
Hello. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for the bits that were donated. We've got 7 revelations so far. We are very, very close to unlocking Don't click on that. We have 2 more borders to discover. So a few of us are at least halfway to knowing all the secrets about their lives. And then we still have plenty more for Amor and for the Contessa. That said, thank you also to all of you watching on YouTube. It's always greatly appreciated to know that we have fans watching the VODs. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Roll20, Magen Press. Thank you to Found Familiar. Thank you to our partners through the Diceomancy program, Level Up Dice. And thank you, all of you wonderful cast, for taking some time on your Monday evenings to play Drinking and Flirting the RPG. That said, I'm going to leave the mic up to all of you. Tell us who you are. If you have anything that you want to plug, go right ahead, where we can find you on the internet and all of that. Let's do same order that we did the introductions. So we will begin with Adriana.
Hi everyone, my name is Adriana, and you can find me in a lot of things. Here Monday nights playing with these amazing people, with this amazing GM. You can also find me Sundays, 9 a.m. EST at the Hype Goblin, DMing my own homebrew, loosely D&D world. And Thursdays over at the Indoor Adventure, where we're playing a modified version of Acquisitions Incorporated. And there's a podcast coming out that I did with Pro Restarters called Shadows of Arcanum. It's really, really cool. It's set in Tal'Dorei, but we're playing with the rules of Shadow of the Demon Lord. There, I think the first 3 episodes out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So if you're interested, go and have a listen. Other than that, you can find me at ElsaVamp on Twitter, and everything else I do, I'm sure I'm missing something because I do a lot. It's going to be there. I'm going to post it there. So just you can find me there.
Thank you for coming, Adriana. Kenny.
Hi, I'm Kenny. You can find me on the Twitter at Punderdrone. When I am not here playing with these amazing, fantastic people, I am on the Experience Points channel. You can find out information on Twitter at EQ Points. We play Starfinder every other Saturday, where I am the narrator there. And every other Sunday, we play a Numenera campaign narrated by Cormelon, my husband. We have a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming, Kenny. Pooja, you're next.
Hi, I'm Pooja. You can find me on Twitter at Pooja and on Instagram at Poojaberwalkie. And I'm here on Mondays with these fabulous folks playing Drinking and Flirting the RPG, I will now forever call it. And you can find me every other Friday, including this one, playing a brand new Constantinople by Night Vampire the Masquerade campaign on the Manapot Studios channel. And starting next week, I will be also appearing there on, so that was Friday nights. And then on Tuesday nights, I will be appearing on a series of various fandom one-shots. Next week is going to be a Mass Effect one-shot. And then we might be going into a 5 or 6 week Star Wars campaign. We do a lot of different fandoms and kind of take back the fandom from the bad stuff that happens in them. But yeah, more details can be found on my Twitter. So I would love to speak to all of you and hang out with you more.
Thank you for coming, Pooja. Chris, you're next.
Thank you, Simon. As always, thank you for allowing us to play Castle Falkenstein here on Wandering DM. You took a gamble on me with season 1, and now we're in season 3. We've had some ups and downs, and this season is, well, actually mostly ups. Most of the downs were, bumpy rides or hedgehogs, but that's a story for, well, the VODs. But yeah, this season we are off to a rousing start with an amazing cast. Some returning characters, some new characters, and some new faces here on Wandering DM. We are looking forward to where this season takes us, and I am so excited about the people in chat that have interacted and talked with us and talked with one another. You all have been awesome. It really uplifts me to keep keep showing up and bringing my A game, all of you. So thank you. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Geary, And Friday nights, you can find me back here on Wandering DM, reprising my role as the infamous Mr. White, aka Dr. Frost, in Cyberpunk Red, sponsored by Artel Saurian. They could do it here too, but you know. Other than that,
send them a message.
If you want to know more about different types of games that are coming out, myself and a number of people are working on a game called Omens Rising, and we're getting closer and closer to public releasing of information where we're at and some teasers about what you will see in that world. But that's what I've got for now, Simon. Thank you.
And thank you, Chris, for coming last but not least, Deirdre.
Well, hey, y'all. You know me. I'm at Deirdre Donlan on Twitter, Praxagarth Esmiaphori, as you see me around on Twitch. And I love this game so much. I love being the Contessa. I love being everything. And this is just so much fun. I love playing off of all of you. Thank you so much. But as for me, you can find me Wednesday on Laugh Love Lindy's channel for some more Witcher Family of Wraiths. And, you know, there are curses, there are evil elves who apparently can't be killed by elves, and a bunch of people locked in a rock. So there's things going on. Then I'll be back here Thursday, and I'll be back here Friday for Cyberpunk Red, because Trins is in a place after last session, and I think you might actually see the most epic of breakups in public. And then Saturday, I get to have all the fun and run our Black Flag, our Rapscallion pirate campaign, and we just started season 2, and it's already juicy, y'all. It'll be great. But check my Twitter because I always post where I'm going to be, all the fun things I get to do, all the fun people I get to hang out with when I go live on my channel and do fun things like in Colloquium at the Salon, which is me and my friend Trooper, just basically talking about nerdy academic stuff for however long we end up talking about nerdy academic stuff. Last week we busted a record and did 10.5 hours live. It was a trip that started with discussions of game theory and then led into a very interesting, lots of different places. But like I said, check out my Twitter. I get to play with all of these wonderful people, and I love sharing all of that with you.
And as for me, we'll be back on Thursday for Dragon Age. We'll be back on Friday for Cyberpunk, Saturday for Black Flag. And if you follow me on Twitter, there's a couple things that are gonna be announced, hopefully soon. And stay tuned for the giveaway for dice. That's it. We'll see you again next week. Ciao, everyone. Have a good night. Wait, I have to wave in frame.